We are in Lviv, which is the largest city in western Ukraine. During the war with Russia, Lviv has served as a safe haven for many residents from the east. Not only that, but Lviv has been a refuge for many animals as well. I'll be taking you to the Domivka Shelter near the heart of Lviv, where hundreds of animals have been housed since the start of the war. This includes many from the shelter in Pritulok, where over 300 animals died, starving to death, locked in their cages for over a month at the start of the war. We'll be meeting a volunteer who has been donating her time since day one of the war at the shelter every day, and she'll show us around and tell us what's going on. Once at the shelter, I met the volunteer Nata, who actually learned to speak English by watching American films.
My name is Nata. I'm volunteer Домівки Врятованих Тварин in Lviv. I'm volunteer here in the first day of the war. Before war, it was like shelter for wild animals. The people rescue animals for private collection or who was in dangerous. After some animals go to the wild, but many animals have some damage for like broken legs or broken wings, so they cannot live in the wild.
As Nata mentioned, the shelter primarily served as a place to care for and rehab wild animals suffering from injuries or abuse. After recovery, most are released back into the wild. For those who cannot return to the wild, they find a home here at Domivka, where they're fed and cared for daily. Exploring the shelter, you'll notice a huge variety of animals, from birds to foxes, and from hamsters to deer. It's honestly kind of amazing to see all of these kinds of animals near the center of Lviv. The shelter is always housed animals that are injured, but especially after the war, they've stepped in to help animals from other regions of Ukraine that have either been abandoned or the shelters have been under attack. This includes a goat named Boris. Near the town of Gostomel, his owner's home was burned to the ground. The home collapsed from the fire, falling onto their goats. All of the goats, except for Boris, died. He managed to escape, but had burning boards falling onto him, causing him a burnt spine. The volunteers of Domivka were able to rescue him and bring him to safety. But the sad stories don't stop there.
So we have one bird. She is eagle. Yeah, she named Galia. She living in apartment in Kharkiv. In people apartment. Just in one room. Yeah, it's like commercial dog. People just go to some place like festivals or just in the street, and people like making photo for the money for this bird. But this person called us and told that they want to rescue because in a place where they live, many bombs, and he very scared about these birds. So he put this bird very small cage, like for mouse, like this, big eagle, and delivered to the train. And she go to us 3 days. 3 days in the small cage. When war is starting, we understand that Lviv must have some place where we can put the rescued animals. So we decide to building new open space cage for the dogs and do some place for the cats. When we starting do all these things, we understand that many organizations from the Europe and from the USA can help us. They have many donations, so they starting to bring more food for our shelter. And after we decide to deliver this food to another city, to another shelter from the Ukrainian.
So, hello, my dear German friends. We received your help today, and we are so grateful for your help, for your support. Often, all these things, they are going to be just delivered to the people who need that. Most of all, to some hot points in Ukraine, and also to our pets.
But now we have many problems because like problem with war, it's not so interesting for people now. So it's not so many donations, not so many help when starting, but animals just come and come.
Even with less support coming in, the shelter continues to deliver food and rescue animals across Ukraine.
Many animals have very big problem with hills. Also, you know, from the shelter from Borodyanka, where the animals don't eat 1 month, and we have some animals from the shelter. So one of these dogs go for a walk now. She names Bobby. It's like old one. When she comes, she like very scared. She don't believe people. But it's like maybe 1 month already she here, and she like wonderful old dog and we think she can be adopted from the Lviv or from another country.
At the start of the war, the shelter called upon Lviv to help them provide rescued dogs with love and care. Lviv residents lined up daily to come and take the dogs for walks. Today, volunteers still come daily to walk and interact with the dogs, giving them time outside of the cage.
So in one time we have 300 dogs and 150 cats. All these animals like rescue different organizations from Poland. We just make some place for these dogs, and after all these dogs go to the different country to adopt it.
Nata showed me around the dog shelter, which was fully constructed at the start of the war. Now, many dogs are here for good, as most countries have put strict rules in place for transporting dogs from high-risk countries. She even shared with me some of the saddest stories, including this guy who had recently lost his leg due to a Russian shelling attack. This dog was left behind by his owners who were fleeing. And this is the case for most of these dogs, separated from their families who were forced to flee their homes for safety, leaving their pets behind. Now they're left wondering where their owners have gone, or if they'll ever live the life they had before the chaos. And the same story rings true in the cattery.
This one just throw away refugee people who living in Lviv now. This one also. This one refugee people living in apartment, and after they like go to the Europe and just take these cats in the apartment and go away. Yeah. So this one also from refugee people. This also from refugee people. This kitten from Donetsk. This cats, 4 cats from the Kharkiv. This different station. One from the Lviv, one from the Kharkiv, two from the Kharkiv. This one from Mykolaiv, the big one, and also we have cats from the Irpin. She like you. She very scared.
It was clear to me that these innocent lives had no idea what was going on.
Those eyes.
Many were left by refugees who could no longer care for their pets while trying to escape the war. But it was obvious that they just wanted to be loved again. The true heroes of this story are the volunteers of the Domivka Shelter, like Nata. In the midst of a war, they've committed to staying and helping those who can't help themselves. And that's what's inspiring to me, the selflessness of these people to join together and collectively care for these animals. Since the start of the war, Domivka has rehomed over 3,000 animals. This spirit resonates across the city of Lviv, where there is so much pride and so much passion for life, for freedom, and for Ukraine. People here truly care about each other, and they've come together to stand for what is right, including protecting their freedoms during a time of war. Slava Ukraini, glory to Ukraine. Thank you so much for watching. Please consider subscribing to Charity for more videos like this, but more importantly, if you want to support the work of the Domivka Shelter, find the links below in the description on how you can support them.